Welcome back, everybody, to the Even Your Dynasty show. It is Tuesday, April 22nd. We are back with another minor league update for the week of April 15th, 14th through the 20th. Games were all on the 15th through the 20th. A lot of good action this week. We had our first kind of major promotion. A couple guys also were named MLB Pipeline's Player of the Week. So we're going to kind of talk about all of those guys. But we're going to just go ahead and jump right into it with Sacramento. Now, keep in mind, last week I went a little longer than usual, a bit more in depth on a lot of players. Most weeks it's going to be more of, I'm going to read kind of the numbers and I'll highlight a handful of guys that really stood out. Both positive. Sometimes it's not going to be positive, but that's kind of how we're going to typically do this. And we have a lot of highlights to share with you guys from different players. So starting off with Sacramento Rivercats, they went 3-3 versus Salt Lake City. 11-10 on the season. Number 2 prospect Marco Luciano went 7 for 20, 2 doubles, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. He was off to a pretty rough start numbers wise. I talked last week about how he was hitting the ball hard, some rough luck in there. Then the K's started creeping in a good amount, but the bat's starting to wake up a bit. He's hitting over 300 over the last couple weeks. So positive to see out of him. Hopefully he keeps it up. Number 3 prospect, Carson Wisenhunt. He was one of the players named to the MLB Pipeline Player of the Week. 6 innings pitched, no earned runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, 87 pitches, 58 for strikes. And really, it was a dominant outing. And the big positive I saw out of this outing, the fastball and changeup were as advertised as they usually are for him. His command can get a little spotty, but he actually spotted the ball pretty well. The big positive for me, his second strikeout actually came on a slider. He threw, I think, like 13 sliders, which ended up only being about 15% of his pitches. But he did get like 6 swings and 3 whiffs on those sliders. And he did use them to steal strikes. It was just mixing that third pitch. The slider looked pretty sharp to me. He did hang a couple, but overall they look pretty sharp. It's a positive development. It's never going to probably be a dominant pitch, but he does need that third pitch, especially if he wants to stick as a starter in the major leagues. Because right now, I think his floor is going to be a pretty dominant reliever because that changeup is just that good. But that was a really positive sign in this last outing. So good for Carson Wisenhunt. Number 7 prospect Grant McCray, 6 for 28, a home run, 3 doubles, a walk, 9 strikeouts, and a stolen base. It was kind of the full display of what he brings to the table, both good and bad. The 9Ks are not ideal, but the power, the speed kind of showed off all the rest of his game. So hopefully he can start getting the ball in play a little bit more consistently. He's hovering around the high 20, I think 28, 29% on strikeout rate, which is not what we want to see, but it's early, smaller sample size. Hopefully as the season goes, he settles in and can get that down at least under 25% is what I'm hoping for. Number 8 prospect, Trevor McDonald, 4 2/3, 3 earned runs, 7 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 75 pitches, 45 for strikes, kind of just battled the command a bit in that game. Number 9 prospect, Mason Black, 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 3 hits, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts, 76 pitches, 50 for strikes. I think he struck out like every guy on a fastball. I mean, it's kind of crazy for a guy that only throws like 92 to 94 tops. He gets a lot of whiffs on his fastball. It plays pretty live. So good outing from him through strikes for the most part. Looked pretty good. He's had kind of 2 or 3 good outings, 1 kind of rough outing. Seems like that's a lot of the guys in Sacramento right now. So some of their numbers are a bit inflated. But overall, he's looked pretty solid down there. He's a guy that we could potentially see in San Francisco again this season at some point. Number 17 prospect Carson Ragsdale, 1 2/3, only 1 earned run. I think he was like 4 total runs, but only 1 was earned. Kind of pitched through trouble a lot. No hits, 4 walks, and a strikeout. He's, it's a command issue with Ragsdale. That's all I really have to say with Ragsdale. When he's on, he's pretty dominant. When he's not, it gets pretty tough. Number 24 prospect, Carson Seymour. He continues to have a really solid year. He's kind of playing his way into discussions as a guy that we might see in San Francisco at some point, or at least he's going to be boosting his value. But 4 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 1 hit, no walks, although he did hit 2 batters, and 5 strikeouts, 77 pitches, 47 of them for strikes. He's yet to have a stinker yet this year. Hopefully, knock on wood, that keeps up. He's been really solid. And, my opinion on him has improved a bit in the early going. Now, I saw flashes of what he's doing right now last season. Lots of inconsistency, though. He battled walks, he battled command issues a lot last season. But I kind of like the way he pitches. He's got a little bit of that like bulldog mentality that I'm going to throw 97-mile-an-hour sink on your hands or cut it on your hands, and he just really attacks the inside part of the plate. And I always like it when a pitcher does that. So another good outing from him. Kyle Harrison. This was just kind of you could look at this outing in many different ways. 4 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. Through 84 pitches, 49 of them for strikes. He had guys all over the bases all game. That game could have gotten way out of control on him and given up, 6, 7 runs. And he kept it to 2. He did strike out 7 guys. I mean, this was really just Kyle Harrison, the full Kyle Harrison experience, so to speak. Like, walked guys, struggled with command, got behind hitters, gave up some hits, gave up some hard contact, but then also struck out 7 guys in 4 innings. So it's kind of what you grow to expect sometimes with him. The one thing I'll say is the stuff is looking a little sharper. I'm not sure if he'll ever have the kind of command that you want out of a guy that was projected to have the front end rotation potential. Frankly, with Wizenhunt's slider looking a little promising, I'm kind of a bit higher on Carson at this point, but by no means am I giving up on Kyle Harrison. That's just kind of what I'm seeing, though, is the stuff looks a bit sharper, but the command is just all over the place still. So we'll see. Victor Barracoto, he was the first kind of big name we've seen called up this year. Now, he had like a third of a season in Double-A back in 2023, played the full year in Double-A in 2024, and he was off to a roaring start in 2025. So it makes sense that he got the early call up. I don't think we're going to see a lot of guys. There are a few people down in the lower levels that I'm going to kind of highlight that I think probably could deserve an early call up. But yeah, he was one of them. He went 9 for 18, a home run, 3 doubles, 3 walks, and 1 strikeout. He's walking a ton. He's got his strikeouts way down right now. He's hitting for some power, hitting for average. Like he was doing so well in the Eastern League, which is a hard environment, especially in April. So good on Victor. That's a good one for him and well deserved for him to get the call up. Brett Wisely, 3 for 15, 3 walks and a strikeout. He's been struggling in Sacramento. I can't, even with Casey hit injured, I don't anticipate we see him soon unless something happens to Koss. Basabi went 4 for 13, a home run. It was a grand slam to kind of for final runs of a emphatic win they had a couple days ago, but a grand slam, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Great glove. Bats showing up a little bit. I actually wouldn't be shocked if we saw him before we saw Wisely, but he's not on the 40 man, so Wisely does have that going for him. Hunter Bishop, 5 for 20, a home run, a really loud one. Really got into it. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Hunter Bishop has been limiting the strikeouts. That to me, that is the biggest positive development for him. He's not hitting for a great average yet. The OPS is still pretty low. Nothing's really standing out as of right now, but the strikeouts being as low as they are, I think he only has like 11 of them right now so far this season. And the strikeouts being down, that to me, that's what stands out for Bishop. So good for him. There's a few guys, and there's another guy in Richmond that I kind of would like to see get up, and it might mean he gets moved or limits his playing time, but that is good to see out of Hunter Bishop. And then Tristan Beck pitched in 2 games, 3.2, 3 2/3 innings pitched, no earned runs, 1 hit, no walks, 6 Ks. He's been really good in Sacramento. If we had somebody in the bullpen that was just falling apart, he probably would be getting called up sooner than later. Right now, the Giants bullpen's been pretty strong, so he'll probably just keep marinating down in Sac for the time being. Moving over to Richmond, they went 2-4 versus Chesapeake this week, 4-11 on the season. Number 10 Eldridge did not play, as we know he hasn't started yet. Hopefully this week. It sounds like he's really close. So I haven't heard any update on what day, but hopefully this week we see him. Number 10 prospect, Joe Whitman, 2 2/3, 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, 69 pitches, 35 for strikes. We saw dominant Joe Whitman a couple of days, last week, and we saw the guy that's super inconsistent with his command, but the stuff is still really high end pitch mix. I'm high on him as a prospect. Doesn't mean he does end up developing, but you're gonna see the up and down with him right now. Number 13 prospect, Diego Velasquez, pretty quiet week, 4 for 22 walks, 2 strikeouts, and a stolen base. Number 16 prospect, Sabine Ceballos, also quiet week, 1 for 17, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Now, that said, he did make what might end up being the play of the year defensively. Pretty ridiculous play deep down the third baseline where he really showed off his pretty insane arm strength. So, great play there. Tough week at the plate, though. Number 26 prospect, Trent Harris, 2 games, 2 innings pitched, no earned runs, no hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts, had a save in there. I will kind of die on the hill that in the last 2 years, or at least, 2024 and so far this season, excuse me, Trent Harris is like the most major league ready pitcher I've watched in the lower levels in a long time. The stuff is so good and the command is there with it. This guy should just rip through the rest of the minors. He belongs in a major league bullpen, in my opinion. And yeah, he's older. He's 26. Things can change, but just from what I've seen, it's pretty crazy when you watch a guy that he just looks like a major leaguer out there, even though it's lower, some of the lower level competition. But as he's gone up, his numbers have not changed. He still dominates, even as he's going higher and higher in the system. So pretty crazy. I think he's going to be an early call up to Sac at some point, but he's been pretty awesome. Number 27 prospect, Everson Arteaga. Really good to see him have a really nice week at the plate. Went 9 for 22, a home run. Did strike out 8 times, but also stole 2 bags. He's not known for his bat. It's well documented. He's a glove first player. I mean, his glove actually drew comparisons to Brandon Crawford when they got him. And as he was coming through the system, it's that highly touted. Now, is he ever going to be that? Probably not. But, that's kind of how he's viewed, at least on the defensive side. But he has struggled at the plate. He has some nice power, has hit the ball pretty hard. He did have a couple go to the warning track that got caught. Then he finally got one up over the fence. He does kind of tend to sell out for power and won't draw a ton of walks. So his value at the plate is probably going to always be a little bit limited. He'll be a lower on base percentage, lower average guy, might hit 15 plus, but his value is going to go with the glove. Jairo Pomares. Now, I'm sorry, I skipped Jack Choate. Number 28 prospect, Jack Choate, 4 2/3, 0 earned runs, 1 hit, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. Really solid outing for him. He's had 2 really good outings and 1 outing where he got kind of knocked around a little bit. The command always feels like it's at least pretty solid with him. He did walk 3 hitters, but he doesn't feel like a guy that's out there spraying it. Like his misses just look better than some other guys. Jairo Pomares, 5 for 20, a home run, 2 doubles, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. He's a guy I would really like to see up in Sacramento. He's hit some just impressive moon balls in Richmond. And I would imagine the one thing that's holding him back is his strikeout rate. It is about 30%. It's not ideal. He is a power hitter. You kind of have to, you take the swing and miss for the pop. He's really shown the power off a ton this season already. Lots of extra base hits. I think he has 3 homers and probably 5-6 doubles on the year already. But the swing and miss has been there, and that's probably why the Giants haven't called him up yet. So hopefully he can tighten that up a bit. Will Bednar, 2 games, 2.2 innings pitched, earned run, 2 hits, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. Stuff is great. Command is like 30 grade right now. It's been really rough the last 2 years. And it's hard because I really want to, believe in his stuff, but at some point they're going to probably have to pull the plug on that one. I don't think teams are lining up to grab him, but if I was another team, I'd probably consider just trading cash for the guy. I mean, he's got a ton of potential. It's just he can't seem to figure out the command, and he's getting older at this point. Adrian Sugaste, 6 for 19, a walk, a strikeout. Pretty uneventful week for him, but solid week overall at the plate. Moving over to Eugene, they went 4-2 versus Vancouver, 8-7 on the season. James Tibbs returned this week. Went 3 for 13, home run, 5 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Now, you look at his splits against left-handers, he hasn't done much. But against righties, he's got over 1,000 OPS. Now, disclaimer for the left-handed thing, he's only had like 7 at-bats. I think he's over 7 with a walk. So there's a lot of time that was kind of one of the things on him was struggles against lefties. I'm not anticipating it's fixed out the gate. I just hope to see improvement as the season goes. But he's crushing righties right now. His plate discipline has been phenomenal. He's not striking out a ton. He's drawing. He's almost doubled up his walks to strikeouts in the early part of the season, which is really impressive. And then he's actually flashing the glove a little bit, made a nice catch in one of the games and absolutely hosed a guy at home plate. That highlight will be on here. Where it wasn't overly deep, but you can tell like that throw was probably on a line and it was a perfect throw that the catcher got. So good there. I mean, he's never going to be elite defensively, but I feel pretty comfortable that he could probably be a pretty average defender with a really good arm. So, and that would be just fine. Number 14 prospect Bo Davidson did not play this week, still out due to injury. Number 18 prospect Josh Bostic, 4 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 2 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. All in all, looked pretty solid. I like his stuff. I like his pitch mix, as it is with almost everyone here. Command. Jonah Cox was probably the best position player in Eugene this week. 7 for 20, 2 doubles, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, 5 stolen bases. Kind of just did everything. Also had a Superman diving catch in center field. Really good game out of him, or good week out of him. Quinn McDaniel went 6 for 23, a double, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts, 3 stolen bases. Another one of those guys that the hits haven't started coming really for him yet, but he is cutting the strikeouts back a little bit. It's good to see the good walk to strikeout ratio. He's stealing some bags. I think it's a matter of time with him before he has just a huge breakout couple weeks. But right now he's kind of been treading water a little bit. Charlie Zacconi went 5 for 22, 3 doubles, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. The strikeouts are the one concerning thing for me with Zacconi. I like the added power we've seen out of him. He's been hitting balls hard. He's elevating them more. He only has the 1 home run so far, but he's had a lot of doubles in the early goings. He's had a lot of big hits, driving in runs. Good to see the development out of him so far. I think that was the next step, was to see him kind of, he talked about hitting like his, Will Clark told him, "You're a big guy, hit like it." And so I think that's the first part of the development, but then he's going to have to, dial the strikeouts back a little bit. Zane Zielinski, his former teammate, went 4 for 19, 2 double, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, and 3 stolen bases. And then Shane Rodemacher, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, had a perfect 5-inning start, 3 strikeouts. He's down to a 0.64 ERA on the year and a 0.34 WHIP on the year. In 3 starts, has thrown 14 innings. He's been about as dominant as any pitcher in minor leagues, major leagues, any league so far in the early going. So big shout out to him. He's looked really good. Now moving over to San Jose, they went 2-4 versus Rancho Cucamonga, the Dodgers single A affiliate. They're now 8-7 on the year. A couple big performances down there. Number 6 prospect Dakota Jordan went 6 for 25, a triple, 2 doubles, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts, and a stolen base. The hits slowed down a little bit. He did show off the big time power. Some of these, the ball just explodes off his bat. It's pretty crazy. Strikeouts, swing decisions, still a little bit not where we're hoping for, but it's good to see. He's definitely not overwhelmed in A-ball, and he really shouldn't be coming from the SEC. But we do need to see the strikeouts start coming down a little bit. Number 20 prospect Robert Hipwell had a pretty tough week at the plate. 1 for 22, a triple, 2 walks, 13 strikeouts. Now the one hit, the triple, it was a big one. It was a game they won 2-0, and that hit plated both the runs of the day. So big hit there. Number 22 prospect Jose Ortiz, He only went 1 for 2 with a stolen base, and he got placed on the 7-day IL. He left the Tuesday game with an injury. I can't tell what the injury was. And as I've mentioned many times, minor league sucks at updating people on injuries. They are just really bad about sharing that information. Number 25 prospect, Jacob Bresnahan. He was the pitcher they received for Alex Cobb. 3 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 5 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, through 66 pitches, 44 strikes. The stuff is looking good from him. You can tell he put in work in the offseason, try to be more explosive. I've yet to see it with the command. I mean, since they've traded for him, his command has been way off. So, as always, I'm not giving up on guys, but I just don't see it with him yet. Hopefully, at some point, he cleans the command up and and we'll kind of see the upside there. Because I see that rank at number 25, and I'm like, I understand how they do the ranking system. Baseball America, MLB Pipeline, all these different sites. A lot of what they rank, especially in the lower levels, is based off of projection and raw tools. And his stuff is really good, but the command is so lacking right now that stuff's only going to take you so far. Number 29 prospect, Lisbel Diaz, 4 for 21, a double, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, and a stolen base. Pretty quiet week from him overall, but he's still off to a pretty good start. Walker Martin did not play. He had left last week with an injury. Couldn't tell what it was, but he has not returned yet. Jacob Christian, the other guy the Giants have in their system that, according to MLB Pipeline, was one of their players of the week for first base. 8 for 20, 2 home runs, a double. Now, the double was lost in the sun. We take those still. Walk and 6 strikeouts. Overall, great week from him. The power has been awesome. He's hitting 290 with a 950 OPS in San Jose. He's a guy that I'd probably say, and there's one more down in San Jose, but he's a guy that I would say probably deserves a pretty early call up to Eugene. He was a college player. I think 3 years. He went to Point Loma for a couple of years and then University of San Diego. He's a guy that, college player, A-ball, off to a great start. I'd be trying to push him up to high A pretty quick. The college guys aren't the ones, especially when they show up and they play well. They're not the guys that I worry about sitting in A-ball for a while. At some point, just get them to high A and get them against a tougher level of competition. Jeremy Maldonado, 1 2/3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Wasn't able to back up that great start he had last week, but we'll kind of see what comes with him. He's got really good stuff, so we'll just see. Carlos Gutierrez, 5 for 19, a walk, 4 strikeouts. And then last but not least, Greg Ferrone, 5 innings pitched, no earned runs, 1 hit, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts, 74 pitches, 54 strikes. He is another guy, like I just said with Jacob Christian, college guy, pretty off to a really dominant start down in A-ball. I'd probably give him another start or two, and if he keeps doing what he's doing, just give him the early call up to high A. That's I know they want to see guys dominate each level, but I do think you need to push guys to where they're challenged. And some of the college guys in A-ball, they're facing very similar levels of talent to what they might have faced at their colleges. Obviously it's a little bit better in some regards, but I do feel like they should be pushing a couple of the college guys up a little faster. So that's all I have for this week. We'll be back with our live show probably either Thursday or Friday night. We'll take a look and see what kind of works better on the schedule based on the times of the games. But aside from that, go Giants. If you guys do enjoy the content, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. And we very well might have a new intro video for you guys when you guys join us next time. So I appreciate all you guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you next time.